for Christmas, come and see. Every day a new face, join the spree. From trials to tales, it's all so bright. Let's celebrate and stream tonight. Old and new friends, big and small, streamers unite, we welcome all. Get cozy, grab your cocoa, don't be late. Join the fun, it's gonna be great. Creators for Christmas, come and see. Every day a new face, join the spree. From trials to tales, it's all so bright. Let's celebrate and stream tonight. Old and new friends, big and small, streamers unite, we welcome all. Get cozy, grab your cocoa, don't be late. Join the fun, it's gonna be great. Creators for Christmas, come and see. Every day a new face, join the spree. From trials to tales, it's all so bright. Let's celebrate and stream tonight. The holidays are here, so let's unite. Creators from near and far in the limelight. Together we shine, spreading joy and cheer. Streaming side by side, the best time of year. Creators for Christmas, come and see. Every day a new face, join the spree. From trials to tales, it's all so bright. Let's celebrate and stream tonight.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, whoever you are, what, if any, you might be. And welcome to the second creator for Christmas that we're going to do in this little creator streamy thingy where I bring people on. Some we know, some we don't know. Some of us know of each other because we hang around the same group of people. And today we will be meeting a guy I never met before, but who I of course know because he has been all over the Karen Reed coverage. He has his own channel. He's on a lot with LTL. He's a lot with our good friend Mike. And I'm just going to bring him on and he can talk a little bit about himself. So welcome, Mazza. And thank you so much for joining and helping me out finding 12 creators for Christmas.
Anytime, Baker. Thanks for reaching out to me. Thanks for having me on your show tonight. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure getting to meet you and joining your show for the first time. This is going to be a great episode.
I hope so. What my shirt says, it says pew pew MFer. It's a gift from FD Food Fairy, a very, very nice lady out of Chicago who FD stands for Fire Department. So she is. I also have some fireman shirts from her because my dad used to be a fireman.
Excellent. That's awesome.
But like I started yesterday, that's kind of the jump off point. Why YouTube?
Why YouTube for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the better platforms. I had been streaming on YouTube for many years under MazzaMedia, and for a while I actually switched to Facebook Live, and then one day my Facebook account got randomly hacked and I had to create a new one down the road. So I decided to start moving my shows back to YouTube again. And this is in the days where I was doing sports shows, shows on sports, movies, some other subjects that would come up. I remember during COVID-19, we did quite a bit of COVID episodes, things like that. And then kind of evolved from there. But YouTube is kind of my original place of hosting my shows, and then kind of worked out pretty nice. So it's good. YouTube's just the best platform to use in my particular opinion. It can be a little tough with some of the ways your content can be flagged and whatnot, but other than that, it's the best. It's the best one to use.
Yeah, we always get told, diversify, go to other. I did the Rumble thing for a long time, and it's just going nowhere. Yes, if you're Steven Crowder or Nick Ricada and have the special deals and all the boosts on, yeah, you can probably still. YouTube is the most democratic. Yes, we have to say pew pew. Yes, we have to say red rum. We have to use all the YouTube words, but it's still the easiest way to grow and have a channel. Because all the other channels is, I'm actually dual streaming to Twitch right now because my guest yesterday said not a lot of people stream trials on Twitch, and there is a market for it. So I think, oh, I can try it.
Yeah.
It'll just run like everything else. And that's the good thing about StreamYard. You can stream to your channel, and I can stream to 3 different places. So But so you started out more like a political channel,
sports and movies channel. Yeah, I've always had a big interest in sports, movies, a lot of action movies. For a lot of years, I was into a lot of superhero movies till I really got fatigued with a lot of those kind of movies. But big into sports, Celtics, Patriots. Actually, the first show I had done that was ever live was actually a Super Bowl preview show for the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl about 5 years ago now, 6 years ago now. And I was sitting around one day and kind of was getting this old vibe because in college I did a sports show with one of my friends, and I said, reached out to him, say, hey, we should do like a Super Bowl preview show. Would you be up for that? He goes, yeah, that sounds awesome. So I reached out to another friend and another cousin of mine. I think it was 3 or 4 of us on that show. And we just, previewed the upcoming Super Bowl for the Patriots. And then after they won it, we said, hey, do you want to do, review the Super Bowl? So we did a second show. And then kind of after that, I'm like, well, that's it. We did 2 shows and it was fun. Now we're moving on with life. And then everyone's like, oh, hold on. Let's do another show about other things. I said, okay. The next thing I knew, about 4 years of my life went by, and we had done a weekly show every single Thursday up till the September, October timeframe in 2023. And then at that particular point, a lot of our interests were starting to go in competing ways or different ways. My buddy had brought on a friend of his that he knew. I actually knew the kid from college as well. And he had, I actually auditioned for 98.5, the Sports Hub, back in 2014. I went somewhere near Norwood or Norton or something like that, somewhere off of 495, 95, somewhere around there, and had been at some restaurant on a Saturday. It was this big event they had. And all I do is they have you read a piece of paper, like the updates, tune into 95.5, all that. So it was like hundreds of people had showed up, and nobody ever got a call back that I'm even aware of. So I was like, that's it for 90. But back then, yeah, I was considering 98.5. But that dream was slashed on that day about 10, just over 10 years ago now, which is hard to believe. I think it was 2014, right around there. So, so I, alternatively just kind of said to myself years down the road was, I kind of want to do, as we started doing the show, I'm like, hey, I could do a weekly show. You guys are right. This would work. Let's start doing things every week. So every Thursday night around 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, we'd do a show occasionally on a Wednesday, occasionally on a Friday. And really just, I'd send them a couple, we'd have a group chat every week. I'd say, hey, these are going to be the topics this week. This will be segment 1, 2, and 3. And we go for a long time. I mean, a lot of our shows went from like 8 o'clock to sometimes 12:30 in the morning. And a lot of times I'd have a 45-minute commute the next morning at like 6 o'clock, and I'd be up till 12:30 in the morning. But that's the younger me. A couple of years ago, I used to do that. But like I was saying too, until 2023, September was when I decided to not want to talk about the sports. The show was kind of running in a different direction. It was kind of dragging a little bit. It was kind of becoming stale. My longtime good friend and his friend who I knew in college kind of had their own interests. And my interests were getting away from talking about sports and movies on my shows. It had been done to death. And quite honestly, since Tom Brady's retired, it hasn't been as fun in New England. But I decided, I'm like, I want to talk about Karen Read more and more. So occasionally I'd start to do a show that was like short about Karen Read, talk about it for a moment or two, and then that was it. And then I would start to post on X during the summer. So around the summer, I started posting on X, and that's really where the MazzaMedia name started to become known among people. And that was where I actually started to get to know a channel by the name of the Young Jerks. And I'd frequently clip a lot of his videos from select board meetings and other things he'd post and condense them into like 2-minute clips and post them on my page, and he'd share them. And then we kind of had built a rapport, not even knowing who each other were, not knowing each other's faces. It kind of built up a rapport, and right along, I was kind of losing interest, coming towards the end of summer 2023, with my own sports show. So what I did was I said, guys, this is the end of the road. I know you two guys want to go your own separate way, but I'm just going to kind of do X for it now. And I think I'm done the show route. I'm not going to ever do it, at least not for a while. I don't know when I'm going to ever do it again. Maybe we'll do an occasional show, but that's about it. They they went on, they created their own channel. I don't know how well they're doing. I haven't really talked to those guys in a bit, but they've been doing their own show, I guess. I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but I went my own route and I went on X. So finally, one night, Mike was doing a show, a call-in show, and there was something going on. I decided to call in. And Mike's like, "Oh, you're Mazza." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Mazza." And he goes, "Hey, you got like a voice for radio, man." I'm like, "Hey, I hear that a lot. You know, I did some stuff in college and did like my own show, things like that." And that was a pretty cool day. And then really for me, the moment that I think kind of where I felt like my voice was really being in demand from a lot of people was actually the day Aiden was arrested and thrown in jail. That was not the October one, but the one right after Christmas. And I called in the Young Jerks. I think I was on that show for like 10 to 15 minutes talking with Mike. And I just went on a rant about it and also just kind of tried to calm everybody down and just kind of keep, because a lot of people were in panic that night. I was just trying to do what I could just to kind of keep everybody centered on moving forward, because it was a very shaking night that night. It was a lot of people were shaken. A lot of people were strong and angry. There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of people that were very upset about that. And I just said, I need to go on. And when I'm on this show, I just want to try to just project strength to everybody and just really inspire everybody. And I noticed that the chat, and Mike said it too, was very positive in response to me that night. And really that was the night where Mike wanted to start having me on more frequently to discuss that, because at that time, it was just MazzaMedia on X. And even when I was calling in, nobody saw my face for like another 6 months. So then after that, I started to make regular appearances. And then someone out there named Richie, who you may or may not know, works for Turtle Boy, works with Turtle Boy occasionally, had been reaching out to me and just saying, "Hey, man, I see you used to do a show. You should get your voice out there when you call into the Young Jerks. You're very strong, you're well-spoken, etc." And I said, I was kind of reluctant. I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to get back into the shows. I did it for years. It took up so much of my free time. I don't know if I want to do this again because I'm already so busy as it is. So I went from like this reluctant person that didn't want to go back on YouTube again because it was taking up so much of my life. And I had no idea in the coming months that my YouTube life was going to take up far more of my time than it ever had before when the Karen Reed trial had come about. When Mike reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want you on my show every night to review the Karen Reed trial." And that was when we were also starting to get to know a very great attorney who we love dearly, attorney Mark Betterow.
Yeah.
And kind of how the 3Ms kind of came together like that. When Mike found him and all that, we kind of came together to form a very nice trio and have a great time. And it was an incredible experience. I'll tell you one thing though, working all day and then getting on a show at night and having to keep your ear to the trial, because when I work, I get to have my computer on, home computer, and I work remote, and I can have YouTube open all day. So I've been working on my work computer, and then also my home computer's there, and it's playing audio all day, so I can listen to the trial as I'm working. Unless I'm in a meeting, then I got to hit pause. So I had to kind of get in sync with like, how am I going to work all day? How am I going to do a show tonight? And then actually be educated as to what happened onto this trial. So from time to time, I somehow I figured it out. I don't know, but I just would, anytime I had a work meeting where I had to do whatever, I would just pause the live stream of the trial, focus on my job. And then when I was ready to do work that I could just, type and all that, where it didn't require listening, I could fire up the home computer again, start listening to the trial. So a lot of times I'd be like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, even 4 hours behind on the trial. And I just try to find my way through it all day while still showing no drop off on my work at all, which was great. So I just was able to listen to it. And, my boss, he listens to sports radio all day himself, so it's not really an issue. So it was good. So I was able to keep up and just kind of keep up with it. And then a lot of times I'd use my lunch break, an hour of my lunch break. And then right after work, another hour there to just kind of catch up real quick. And somehow every day, we just find a way, even if it was like a late show, like a 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock show, it'd always be great because I'd have 2 to 3 hours to catch up if I needed it. So somehow every day during that trial, I was able to work my job, pay attention to that trial without it interfering with my job, and doing a very high level performance and getting that all done. So that was tough. and then working from 7:30, and a lot of times doing a show that would go 2 hours or more day after day. So my work weeks were like, I'm not complaining, but they were like 55-hour work weeks, 60-hour work weeks sometimes. But it was worth it because this was a big time thing. And I'll be honest with you, when I heard this thing was going to come to another trial, I'm like, no. Because not only was I upset, I'm like, well, it's going to be a lot more shows to do. But I'm game for it. I don't, like I said, I'll fight for Karen and fight with all of you for Karen as long as it takes, and I'll find a way to do it. But it took a lot of just a lot of hustle, just a lot of fight, a lot of hustle, finding times to take naps. But I wasn't going to give up. I was like, I'm going to find a way through this any way I can.
Yeah, and it was a brutal trial because we wasted so much time with what if any snow, what if any person drove the ambulance, what
Right.
if any DUI did you make that day, and that day and that day. So I was glad I took that week off in Tennessee, and thank you so much, Marissa, for coming in and doing a stream for a week, because yeah, people don't really seem to think it takes much to do this, but you have to be, because we have to get all the answers. We have to keep, like Mac is asking. I follow about 5 Karen YouTubers. It seems there's excessive, unnecessary infighting in that world. It is upsetting to see the issue, Karen and Aiden. Why is this happening? I will say there's not a big infighting in this world. Right now, there is 1.5 person, and I don't want to put names on it. We'll keep the drama llamas in the barn for this show, but there are 1.5 person who are really attacking Aiden right now, and it's because they are only Karen channels. They can't do stuff if they can't talk about Karen Reed, so they have to always try and do something. And then people started questioning, saying, but you're always claiming stuff and nothing ever happens. Then their numbers started dropping. And when numbers start dropping and your channel is stale, like my channel, please like and subscribe because I'm going down in subs. You'll start some drama, because drama really kicks off a lot of attention to your channel. If I go out, if I started this trial, started this stream saying, I'm so glad Mazza is here with me tonight, because why is he wasting time with the young jerks? He should be here. We have a great channel here, and Mike is such a blah, blah, blah. Everyone would blow up on Twitter in 15 minutes, and there would be drama for weeks, which is, it's good in the short run. It's kind of like a Deflategate when the New England Patriots cheated. Luckily, they got beaten twice by the mighty New York Giants.
I'm leaving. Bye.
That's the drama tonight.
I'm a diehard Patriots fan.
Yeah, well, I'm a Giants fan, so
oh jeez, oh
twice.
My goodness.
Boy. But I don't see there's a lot of, and I know there's something about the ground people and the stream people and blah blah blah. But I think it's a lot of, this has been a year we have been running in 6th gear, and as you said, when you heard, oh, trial 2 is coming, still a heck of a lot of work. Just today we had decisions on several motions. People in the sphere around the Karen Reed case, one got a restraining order. And for those of you who haven't seen it, there will be a voir dire hearing on Dr. Russell, because even though she was voir dire during the first trial, if she had expertise in dog bites, the defense still want to do it. And the other one is, what the heck is it? Now I forgot it. The other one was,
I think they're going for the ARCA guys, and there's the appellate court to drop the Supreme Court for the dropping of charges 1 and 3.
Yeah, but they haven't done it yet. But there was 2 rulings today. That was or maybe it's just, no, she denied the dismissal of the voir dire. That's what the one, and then they filed a motion to have all the notes from the ARCA guys. And again,
yes,
that's I'll put this one in the books, Jess. Question: what's your take on Mr. 75K?
This one's going over my head. Brennan, yeah, I try not to comment on him, honestly. The only reason why, I just don't like some of the affiliations he has, that I don't really want to try to bring up too much about him, but I'll give you a generalized response instead of a direct response. I will tell you that this is an opportunity by the Commonwealth to try to bring in essentially someone that is more capable than Adam Lally. Adam Lally is kind of like, a villain in the first movie that fails, and then the same group. It's like a James Bond movie, Spectre. Not the movie Spectre, but the Spectre villains. If one villain doesn't succeed to kill James Bond, they bring in another. That's kind of really what's happening here. It's like Batman movie villains. Joker doesn't succeed, it's the Penguin, it's Catwoman, the Riddler, whoever you can bring in. And that's really what this is here, is by really digging into their trove of prosecutors and seeing if someone can do better than Lally, and seeing Adam Lally demoted is pretty funny. But again, this guy's coming in here to try to be a bigger, badder prosecutor, and they're also trying to do different things in a sense as well. So that is pretty much the plan, and just their attempt right now as a collective collective team of prosecutors, they're trying to do everything they can to just try to dismiss some of these witnesses for the defense, and try to just do anything they can to make them seem like they're not irrelevant or question their credentials. And obviously, most people will say that obviously their credentials are going to stand extremely valid. And really what this truly is a tactic to try to burn Karen's pockets. Because in a lot of cases, if counts, well, not cases, in a lot of situations, I should say, if counts 1 and counts 3 are ultimately dismissed at some point, if the appellate court rules, hey, we're kicking it back now to Bev's court, she's going to poll the jury. The jury says, hey, yeah, no, we voted to declare not guilty on 1 and 3. Now, what's happening here is you're holding these voir dire to try to confirm Dr. Marie Russell's credentials, which is costing Karen money in the meantime. And then if counts 1 and counts 3 eventually are dismissed, say around February or March, then Karen's been spending money for flying out Dr. Marie Russell, getting her a hotel, all the food she's got to eat. So it's burning up her pockets. And they're trying to play this long game, essentially, where it's, let's just run as much money out of Karen as we possibly can, which might have been one of the tactics used in the finale of the first trial, which was this, to try to have it end inconclusively and controversially by design, to try to draw more money out of Karen, because now they got to come back for more hearings. They got to fly out Alan Jackson and Eliza Little again, and on this goes. But to me, it seems like it's a fight against Karen's pockets to try to drain her as much as possible, and by draining her, weaken her. And honestly, Karen, they tried to corner her once upon a time, but they never could have expected that a content creator like Aidan Carney of Turtle Boy, and then many others, Glare, LTL, and the Young Jerks, and many others would stand their ground and also get vocal and start speaking out about what was going on. Then they never expected Melanie Little and attorney Mark Betterow to come in the fold as well, among others, and start speaking out. And suddenly you had not just Aidan, but a whole legion of content creators.
You have an
out
idiot
there
in Denmark who started covering it.
Right, yourself, right? But not an idiot. Not an idiot, though. You're not an idiot.
Well, I try. I can never make the grift list. I must be an idiot. Right. No, but I think you're right in that they never expected she had that size of bololos she had, because they upcharged her to try to take a plea deal.
Yeah,
they wanted to force her into a plea deal, and she said, "I'm going bankrupt fighting you."
Yeah, it's poker.
And
it's poker.
And she's, of course, we can always Monday morning quarterback and sit and say, well, they should have. I think they should have presented I didn't understand one word of why the 227 happened or didn't happen, or I was just lost. I had a guy, not a Russian bot, in my chat who is working with stuff like that. He said, yeah, well, it's this and this, and it makes sense. And I thought you could talked about how they built aqueducts in ancient Rome, and I would have understood more of that. I really didn't understand anything, and I didn't like the defenses. He was too smart, if I can say that, because a lot of experts forget they have to talk to the stupidest person in the room, not the smartest. So I think that was one of the mistakes they made. They got a guy who was really good but a bad communicator. That's why I like Dr. Russell, because she was absolutely just as qualified in her field, but she was the sweet old grandma who told stories, and everyone loved her. She had every job in law enforcement. I'm pretty sure she might have been riding on the back of JFK's limo back in '63. Well, she should have been. She would have saved him. I'm sure of that. She had every job.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Twisted Tea, for supporting over on Mazza's channel.
Thank you, Twisted Tea. Pleasure meeting you. You're welcome. I've met a lot of great people I hadn't met before, and a lot of great people I hadn't seen in a long time. So I always enjoy seeing everybody in person. So thank you, Twisted Tea.
Yeah, and as Rachel say, if I was a Mass resident, I would be upset the taxpayer money is paying for a prosecutor when they should have a full office. Yeah, a special prosecutor. I've said that for the longest time. I wouldn't pay my taxes. I would just write them. You can take it out of the MSP's pocketbook, because the average pay on a police officer is around the same we give our PM in Denmark. $300,000 a year. It's absolutely crazy. That city. Oh, now I know what it was that got dismissed. It was yesterday. The rubber duckies that got dismissed yesterday. That's
Rich Schiffer. Yep, that was a great day. That was a great thing. They're trying to just do everything they can out there to make it seem like he's a absolute terror in the streets of Canton for distributing rubber ducks. And it's far from the truth. So worst come to worst, littering charges is what he has to stand to gain, and as a charge, I believe. And I think that's the only one that's out there. If I'm mistaken about that, someone can correct me. But that's about it, which is great news for him. The worst of it's over. 4 of the 5 charges are out the door. Now it's just, I think, that petty charge that's still out there, which ain't bad. I mean, if the worst that comes out of this is a fine, we've already established a fund for people in the same circumstance like himself. Where that can be covered very easily, so that's not a problem.
And how long have you known Baker? This is the first time we're talking, Zach. But thank you.
Yeah.
Zach is a guy I have on it. I get a small amount every month from the ADA to have him hang around so he doesn't go out and make trouble in the streets. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's not paid enough, but he's nice. He gets to super chat for government pay, so that's fine. I saw something. How do you overcome the feeling of helplessness as we watch gross injustice occur before our eyes? This never should have made it to trial. Well, I can say on my behalf, I watched trials for almost 2 years now, or covered trials. Before that, I was watching a lot on Ricada or MLS's channels when they covered trials. And you see gross injustice everywhere, and we should be happy we can see them, because you can't see it in Denmark. We don't have any access to courtrooms. Well, you can go watch it, but who shows up in a courtroom and just sits there and watch? So we can't put focus on it in the same way. So at least you can see it and you can vote against it. That's but yeah, sometimes you feel, sometimes I watch trials and I just have to, I always tell Jamie, I'm going to take a week off now. I'm going to stream next day because she calls me and threatens me. But he's a hard boss. Melanie Little says the most likely the lovely doctor won't have to do Thursday. Well, if she's ordered to do the voir dire, so she should be. I don't know if she can do it via Zoom.
She could. That'd be great if she could do it by Zoom. I think that would be very nice if that could be done that way. I don't think it's necessary for her to have to fly out for something as simple as this. Considering, are you an expert? Yes, I'm a doctor.
Yeah, yeah. That's a thing. I don't. You probably don't. I'm a layman in Denmark. That's our jury system. And people are asking, because I'm so sick of that voir dire thing. What's your job? I'm a police officer. Where did you get training? I went to the police academy. Why? For how long? Blah, blah. In Denmark, if you come in a uniform and says, I'm a police officer, we trust you.
Okay.
If you come in and say, yes, I was the doctor in the emergency room, you probably were the doctor in the emergency room who did this. We don't need to know that you went to this university or that university, because I don't know if you are a better or worse doctor if you went to Harvard or Yale. Well, Yale doesn't have a medicine department. I don't know, but it's such a weird thing. But that's probably because we are that high trust in society, and America is a we don't trust authorities society. But it's just a waste of time in trials. I think they should just stipulate to it. But it's also because lawyers are a-holes. They want to fight each other all the time. But yeah, it's just weird. I wanted to ask something about the Morrissey thing. Do you think we're going to get the FOIA on his private phones?
Probably not. Probably not. I would say that it's probably going to take a miracle to see that. I would love to see those emails. I would love to see them. Who knows what he's already deleted or offloaded? But yeah, that'd be something that would be nice to get our hands on, because, and I'll say this before and I'll say it again, we're going to find out a lot more information would be on those emails than just the Sandra Birchmore and Karen Reed cases. And who knows how many other people, if we ever get those emails ever saw the light of day, how many other people have been framed and how many other injustices and collusions that he's been responsible for. So, I mean, the very fact that he has a burner email of it in itself is beyond concerning. That he's using a burner email like that. That is beyond concerning. And you know, we all understand that people, you know, like every single person that works in the private sector, public sector, whatever. We all understand we have our own personal email addresses. I do. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know how many people use their personal emails for company-based communications.
But you can't do that as a public servant because you have the FOIA law. And we actually had that. We had during the coup, we had our PM and her first secretary. They had private communications around the time where, you know, that little furry thing called a mink. They used them to make fur coats out. And they decided we're going to kill the entire population we have in Denmark. We had a big industry. Cost the Danish people, translated, like $2 billion that they had to pay to those. And then no one knew who made the decision, but because they had done it on private phones, and they also had it set for security reasons for 30 days automatic deletion. But the problem is you can probably get them because Apple have to store them for reasons in the EU. We have different rules how to store data. So they could probably have gotten them from Apple, but they delayed long enough that they couldn't get it from Apple. So it's such as all the sunshine laws doesn't work when the politicians don't give a crap about it.
Yeah.
There were papers filed this morning. She read by the new attorney. Yes, Judge Bev she has been the Usain Bolt on that motion because faster than any decision she ever made, she denied it. So Dr. Russell will be there Thursday to have the Wadia. Ipsa Doxit. Dr. Russell is a sweet old lady. No, she's a badass pro who off the stand could take any of those guys out behind the woodshed, and I'd love to see it. I said she was such a nice old lady when she was talking. Everyone loved her. I didn't see any chat who didn't love her presentation. Only the Smurf would have to be angry at her. Yeah, the Ring camera, when they... That's another thing. I don't know who has expertise in Ring cameras. Maybe Microdots knows stuff about it. That video that was testified they saw at what time was it? 1:35 or whatever it was, where they said no, 12:35. I can't remember, but
it was around 12:30.
Had noticed somewhere, and it didn't exist. And I love that our good friend Plevin, who has done something to his lighting, so he looks like he has jaundice. He claimed, well, that's a proof that Karen deleted things off the Ring system, even though she had no access. This case has really put an emphasis over how bad a small, ingrown group of DAs, politicians, judges who work together in a clandestine way can F people up. And
Sure.
and you mentioned right now you have the Garcia case, you have the Birchmore, you have the Karen Reed, and that guy who got shot
Just en
was
route.
yeah
Just en route.
17,
Yep.
17 times or something.
Yes.
And how long is it ago since Garcia died?
That
4
was
months?
September, 3 months ago.
Yeah, 3 months. Have we heard anything from that camera that was supposedly filming
Not a
it?
thing. They've gone silent. They've gone silent. It's been Brian from Let's Talk Live just put up a very nice billboard image on Route 1 in Foxborough, just near Gillette Stadium, home of the Patriots. That just went up this past weekend. He's done a great job with that. So I guess really, truthfully, the fight's going to be about, spreading awareness as much as possible for Enrique and continuing that. And I got to give shout out to Brian, who's just been on the absolute front lines, really on the horse with the sword in his hands, leading the charge in terms of getting that fight out there, because there's a lot of hiding things underneath the rug, hiding things in the closet in that particular situation. It was a big controversy in the public eye at first, but then the news media and at a local level, I should say, at least in Boston, really simmered on that story and haven't really been given it much coverage and haven't not been really asking a lot of questions about that, which is extremely sad. Enrique deserves better. And furthermore, this is a situation that is absolutely of the highest level of controversy in our state and in our country in terms of why a recruit was injured the way he was and later died as a result of those injuries, and that they have nothing at all to show us what happened, except they're trying to keep it quiet and hope that people forget. And I think that's one of the things in our world, is that they want to prey on your ability to forget. They want to prey on your memory and hope that everyone just kind of forgets. Out of sight, out of mind is the greatest weapon, and all controversies eventually simmer down. And it's really up to us, the people. And in the Karen Reed movement, we've seen this quite a bit. Beyond content creators, boots on the ground. Boots on the ground have been the absolute foundation of the Karen Reed movement. Out there, standing with signs in every crevice, in every bridge, in every town center imaginable in Massachusetts and across the internet. Thousands and thousands of people and groups pushing this across their social media pages. That's what's so great about the Karen Reed movement. And we've learned that other groups, such as Mizzy, who has been one of the foremost supporters and advocates for Sandra Birchmore, has
I
been
had her
out
on.
there.
We did a show about the Birchmore trial, and that needs so much more eyes on it too. I think right now, because everyone is so caught up in the Karen Reed things, and there's motions every other week, and then Aiden goes back to court, and then the Camel Toe 5 goes to court, and there's so much going on that it kind of gets forgotten. But doesn't he have an arraignment coming up? I think he has.
I think it's December 17th, around there.
Yeah, but it's federal, so it won't be shown. That's the worst part.
That's what's too bad about it.
Yeah. I think it's just live if you can find it. Oh, Brandon was going for jury duty last Thursday. He didn't get elected for it. That was a civil matter. What YouTube creator broke the Enrique Garcia Delgado story first, asking for a friend?
I couldn't tell you. I'd probably put my money on Brian LTL.
Yeah, I think LTL was first.
Yeah.
I think
him or the Young Jerks, maybe one of those two, maybe.
Yeah, I got it when I think no, I did it the day after it kind of broke. We read through it. Oh, probably. I don't know. I don't watch this channel. I don't have time enough in my day to watch all the good creators out there. Bad news, I'm eating lasagna for a week. That's a good news. I like lasagna. As long as it's not mediocre chicken parm.
Yes. Good call.
So, yeah, the Camel Toe 5. I love that. What's the nom de guerre she used? Haley Weinbrecht or whatever the picture she put up on a response to Grant today is just a crotch shot of of the fake victim. That day when they showed up that Friday, never been there for the 8 weeks, and then cameras there, we're gonna show up, and everyone had a moose knuckle the size of I don't know what. Oh, it was funny.
Yeah.
Hello, but yeah, the Garcia. Did you watch that press release?
I did.
Oh,
the press conference. The
we
press
loved
conference with the district attorney. Yeah, that
We
was
loved him.
disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting to listen to that, and it was pathetic of them to put that family out there publicly and have them have to be shown in their absolute most raw of, can't come up with terminology here for this, but the most raw of emotions and reactions and shock and stunned state that they were in. And it felt like they were exploited. There was no need of that DA to do that, other than that they knew that somebody somewhere really messed up big time. And they felt the need to make a public statement about this, but it did not look good having that family standing there.
It was
in
so
their state.
disingenuous.
It was, yeah.
And they don't speak English, so they're not going to say anything. But we loved him. He was our favorite guy. We were so sad when he left us. Drew, we have been on for 40 minutes. We loved him, and everyone here at the office. That's something you say kind of like in a football club, real football, not the hand egg thing American play. When you're going to fire the coach, if he loses another game, the week up to that game, you'll tell everyone how great a coach he is, and he is the man for the job. No one did a better job than him in the club, and they have had upsets, and then they'll fire him Monday morning if they lose on Sunday.
Right.
It just came off like we're gonna appoint someone to look into the case because we can't touch it. Who are you gonna appoint? We're gonna talk to someone. Why hold a press conference like that? It was such a BS press conference, and since then, not a word, not one word, nothing about investigations. Has the family heard anything about the autopsy? It's
nothing. There's a lot of breakdowns in exactly what went on with examining his body. Protocols that are believed to have been violated quite a bit. It's really highest level of controversy here, Baker. Highest level of controversy. That's all I gotta say.
But it's so ridiculous, and it just again shows it's such a rotten state. Sorry to say it. It's not you people who live in it, but it's the people in power. It's snowing. Made you look. Thank you, Marissa. I love where it takes us everywhere. I made a rib roast the other day for no reason, then just used it to make cheesesteaks. That would have Baker changing his pantry liner for every 2 minutes. Well, I have to say the cheesesteak I had in Philadelphia wasn't that good. It wasn't the best I've had.
Really?
Oh, it was at the airport. So
but I had a cheesesteak at the Star Drive-In this past Sunday, which was really good. I enjoyed that at the fundraiser for the craft fair that they held for Karen Reed on Sunday. I ended up going with that. That was good. I'd never been there before. The place was really nice. I like that old school 1960s style restaurant there. That was awesome.
Stephanie, please put it in an email because I might not make notes. So if you can send me an email with it, I'll take a look at it. Well, you're not too late. You are just in time. And now I still have hundreds of dollars of beef to repurpose. Got to go more creative. Always make stew. No, but I just think, because again, I've been doing this for 2 years, and normally I'll find those trials that a week you go watch it and you go think, oh, this is crazy. And then Florida, you think, everyone down there, did they have lead paint in their house and licked their walls all the time? But following this year, I jumped on from the hearing with the picture of the scratches. Jamie and I think we were just done watching a trial, and I said, I saw this picture and something isn't right. And then we watched that hearing and how crazy it was and how it just didn't make sense in any way. And now we've been following Massachusetts for so long, and you can see, then you had the crying Morrissey, please stop hurting the victims, the witnesses. how could a DA do that? That
That's
should
right.
be, he should be, I don't, you can't disbar him, but he should be sanctioned for going out polluting
That's right.
the jury pool, and nothing happens. Nothing. No, where's your governor? Where she's a woman's right activist, and she has been absolutely silent on the Sandra Birchmore trial. Isn't that weird? A young lady who was groomed and unalived by her rumor, and now I said it when I had Missy on. I said I would love to talk to every underage prostitute in that area, because I bet you they pay not to be put in prison to these cops, because these cops have a very unhealthy, and yeah, they have a very unhealthy culture around, it seems, young ladies. And I bet you they blackmail those streetwalkers to do certain services. And now we just had other officers who blackmailed ladies of the night to keep them out of prison. You had an entire volunteer program for young kids that more or less was just used as a recruitment to have smacks with, and no one feels the need to do a massive investigation. I know Levy is poking around, but why isn't the governor going out and saying, we need outside help? We need someone we know hasn't gotten their fingers in the pie in Massachusetts. Get someone from Colorado or somewhere who doesn't have friends, connections in Massachusetts, because it seems like that entire system is friends of friends, and dad was working with mom, and it's just rotten. And I really get upset when the politicians are just closing their eyes. I saw a guy respond to Aiden. I think he was a Republican who said that. I think it was on the cops who just got indicted. No, it was the doc, Robert Duggies. He said wasting that much money on a case like that, something's wrong. So finally, some politicians are getting a notice. But how many views have the Karen Reed case gotten? All of us grifters, it's in the millions of views that's going around, and the politicians are just catching on now. It's I don't know, but my rant's over. If you could change one thing about YouTube, what would it be?
Oof, I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that one. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't have an answer on that one. That's a tough one. I don't know. It seems like it's already so advanced and has all these features you could ever ask for that I don't have a suggestion for. maybe less ads and not having to pay for premium. Maybe that.
Well, they have to. I that's the same thing. People are saying, well, I wish they gave us a bigger cut. Yeah, but they could give us no cut, and we would just have to sit here and beg for super chats all the time. it's we're paying for the privilege to stream to their service as well. So it's it's one of those where you're thinking, it's what the heck?
I don't mean it as like as a streamer. I mean it as like a viewer when I'm watching videos online or watching something on NFL.com or NBA's page or NFL's page, and you got to watch a 2-minute ad.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like Rumble. My buddy said to me one day, he said, I tried to watch you over there, and I had a 90-second unskippable ad, and 2 minutes later, I had another ad. I closed down Rumble because he was just trying to give me some views over there. GLA, we talked about this in the beginning, but maybe the quick version.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I can answer the second part of that question. So me and Mike did not meet in person until this year, but I had actually called into a show originally at the end of last year, and we kind of knew. He knew who MazzaMedia was on X. I know who the Young Jerks was on X and YouTube. And then we met. I don't remember I think the first time we ever met in person was during the later days of the trial.
Yeah, you met us outside of court, didn't you?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's
yeah, because I can remember everything. Everyone was
in
saying
June or something. Yeah,
you don't look that tall online.
Yeah. Everyone sees me in person. Those are the big comments again on Sunday when people are meeting me. Like everyone meets me. They say, "I can't believe how tall and how big you are, Maz." That's the comment that you hear the most.
Would be nice if you could DM in YouTube, which I think they had gotten rid of, rather than go find people on X or Discord or Insta and Facebook. Yes, well, at least if you, I don't know, not to be howski snowski, but if you're a creator with a certain, if you're monetized, it would be nice that I can reach out to you. I don't, because we have to go and, oh, what's his socials? Oh, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. It could be nice if you could reach out easier to people, but it's also nice that you don't, because I've had that problem where people thought, oh, my Discord means I really want to talk to you in the middle of the night. And someone started calling me after midnight. It's after midnight now, but I decided to be up. I don't want to be woken up by someone who just want to yell at me and talk to me about how much of an idiot I am because I have a Discord. So I think that's why YouTube, to protect people and not get in trouble with DMs and stuff like that. And we've seen a lot of DMs getting leaked also. Force creators to honor member chats. Brendan, I can't tell YouTube why I don't. You know, I read your member chat. You had your member chat this month. It's you had a terrible ad on Rumble that I can't repeat on YouTube. Well, maybe it was from a Yankee Candle.
Yes.
Censorship is the worst thing about YouTube. I don't think we are that censored. We have to talk in that stupid child language, but we can cover most cases as long. And I don't have the need to say fuck, shit, and all of that all the time. Oh, sorry, we're dual streaming today. Oh, sorry, I just hit your channel as well. Not only my monetization.
Oh, well.
Yeah, well, it happens. But I don't have a problem talking like a 15-year-old, because I know, like yesterday with Harry, who had a tendency to say Christ a lot. For Americans, from some Americans, that's blasphemy, and you don't do that. Where in Europe, we're not religious, so we don't really care about it. So we just I took myself doing it a lot. So doing election season, yeah, it's a little annoying, but I haven't had topics I wanted to cover that I couldn't cover by the by the censorship. Sandy D, yo, hello friends. I'm way late to the party, but wanted to jump on and say a quick thanks to Baker and Mazza. Great content from two great guys. Thank you so much, Sandy D.
Thank you.
And we are lucky that we meet all these new friends, and they are all great streamers, and you are great chatters. I was shocked Baker had leg. Basically, anytime I see creators' legs, I'm like, what? Yeah, I think a lot of people were surprised how big my legs were when they saw them, but I'm a big guy. That's yay, another member chat. Thanks, let's go, Brandon. Don't be like that. Brandon is gonna get upset. As a consumer, I like YouTube the best. Yeah, I think we said that in the beginning as well. As creators, this is the easiest media to be on. It's intuitive. It works most of the time. It's still the king until someone makes it just as easy, because the Rumble studio is crap. I haven't tried Facebook. You tried that. I don't know how it is to stream to that one.
It was pretty good. It's good if you're basically appealing to an audience of Facebook friends, but in terms of a larger audience outside of the realm, it's a lot more effective on YouTube, quite honestly. Thank you, Jetty Jess, for that. Thank you.
For the new people, Danish humor is drier than toast. Okay. Yeah, it takes a little. Yeah. I don't have pants. I have shorts on because pants are prison. Thank you, Ad Revenue Fund. Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, that should cover it. Well, we're dual streaming today, so with these numbers, yeah, I'm probably I would have gotten close to $5 if they only been on my channel. So thank you for doubling my ad revenue today, even with
No
taxes.
problem. No problem. Yeah, yeah.
It's yeah, I love when all of these you're just grifting Karen Reed because there's money in it. Do you know how little you make from ads on YouTube? It's not that much. And have you heard any of the other creators? You've been around a few people. Have you heard any of them saying, if you don't pay me money, I won't stream about this?
Not at all.
That's,
Not at all. I think
and
most of the I think most, if not all, of the creators out there want to just spread the word about Karen Reed and then talk about, you know, Sandra Birchmore and other cases as well. I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is just to have a focus on talking about what matters here and what controversies are going on, and try to spread the word and spread awareness and be more about fighting for Karen and other people, as opposed to a concern about super chats, money, anything like that. I think it's always focus should be on Karen Reed, you know, supporting Karen Reed, getting it out there and fighting it. And quite honestly, many creators welcome super chats. That's great, but at the end of the day, you know, we're out here to spread that word, whether we're a content creator, boots on the ground, or anybody else. I think that's always the most important part, is just be out there and spreading that word and fighting. And that's really what this is all about. You know, someone like myself, you know, I didn't know how many viewers I was going to get when I started talking about this, and it ended up being a lot more than I ever expected, and I'm grateful for that. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to do anything I can and could to spread the word and spread this message of why Karen Reed's innocent, and also at the same time invite people like Mizzy on my show who are the foremost, not have the utmost knowledge about Sandra Birchmore, and give them an opportunity to talk about that on my platform as well, which is really at the end of the day what matters to me.
yeah, and kind of like I'm doing here is also making people meet other creators, because you can very fast get pigeonholed into, oh, you're that guy, and in reality, yeah, we talked a lot about Karen tonight, but it's also, oh, you're a sports guy, and we get to talk a little bit, because if you're on the Young Jerks and have better row on, and it often gets, okay, we're going to talk Karen Reed tonight, but there's a lot out there, and we have a lot more interest than just, we are not just one channel. And I love that everyone is saying, well, we are all just doing what Turtle Boy is doing. I haven't talked to Aiden since, what's the last time I talked to him? I think it was before he was in prison. I think it's over a year ago I had him on my stream. So I love that they call us that. And Good US Citizen was nice enough to give us both $5. You are amazing. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much, Good Citizen. And Jamie had a question. Where do you see yourself and your channel going? Yeah, I know you don't care about me, Jamie. So where do you see your channel going?
I get asked that question a lot, and quite honestly, my answer is for now I'm just going to focus on Karen Reed and additionally Enrique and Sandra Birchmore, as I have availability to do so, and then once this is all over one day, perhaps I'll venture off into something else, and we'll see what ends up going on. But for now, it's primarily and essentially a Karen Reed case. Thank you, Mary.
But are you a true crimer, or whatever you call what I am, a live streamer, or would you like to go back to do more of the light entertainment, going back to covering popular sports, media, stuff like that? Would you?
I have no plans to get back into sports and movie entertainment in the future. Pretty much at this point, that's behind me. I'm not a formal true crimer. I'm essentially someone that is a passionate, really someone that was a Turtle Boy fan and follower of his going back a ways, and was introduced to this case by following him and his posts, and just got curious about it. And the more I read about it, the more I kind of woke up to the fact of what was going on here. And basically I said to myself, well, you know, I have an X account I can use. And eventually, you know, people kind of reached out to me and said, you know, you should go on YouTube and do what you used to do. Finally, I gave in and started doing it. And for for me, that was just kind of the plan. So a lot of folks sometimes think I'm a true crimer. I'm not. It's really just something I kind of really stumbled my way into. And just I think being someone that has cops in my family over the years, and just being into a lot of crime-based movies and news stories over my life, I probably realized I was more of a fit for true crime than I think I had ever realized. But that was pretty much it. So, but I don't know what I'm gonna do in the future. Right now, I just I haven't been thinking about it, because I was getting asked that a lot at the end of the first trial, and as it would happen. Still, we're talking about the Karen Reed case because it's going to a second trial. So for now, it's just going to be a focus on this, and who knows what is going to happen after this next trial, what the status of this next trial is going to be. So for now, I'm just kind of essentially using my platforms and my thoughts and opinions and putting them out there, and conversing, and just really, I always consider myself a free Karen Reed, a member of the movement first, and a content creator is just kind of what I do second. But really, my heart's always been as someone that's wants to participate, wants to help, wants to fight for Karen, and felt that being an hour away from most things in Massachusetts that this usually is based, that my best ability would be better served just being online, whether it's X or YouTube, to kind of participate in what I can do to bring the fight behind Karen.
And that's the thing is also, we have each our set of skills, and what and I'm not a Karen Reed channel. I follow when there's news in the channel, and of course I get a lot of questions because I've had a lot of audience come in, because I've had a lot of great streams with the Young Jerks and Better Row and Melanie Little and Andrea Burchard and Ronkel and people like that. So of course I have a lot of people who ask questions about it, but I'm switching all the time between trials and doing all of that. So I'm just going to go back to doing that, and I am doing that when there's nothing on the case. But I think someone said it. You're an advocate of justice. That's correct. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I just said, well, what can I do to participate in this? And I think one day I just said, well, let's start using my X page. I had an X page for like, I don't know, 8 years, and I barely used the thing. I'm like, why don't I just go on X? I'm like, I'll just start posting on X, and I noticed my posts were picking up a lot of steam, and kind of how it evolved. I never thought that I would be as involved as I became. I never really thought I'd show my face, quite honestly, for quite a few months there. I think I started in the summer of 2023 and didn't show my face for almost a year. And I was kind of concerned about doing that. I'm like, I don't know if I want people to know my face and see my face and all that, but it's too late now. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and thank you, LTL, for the billboard. Yeah, that's good that someone is raising awareness. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
3 months and not a word, no nothing, no facts, no papers filed, nothing is going on in that case. It's so horrible what is going on, and it's the dark hole of Massachusetts. Everything just disappears. It's so crazy. Yes, I am well rounded. It's because I'm fat. I know what you mean, Lolita Smiles. I found out more information about cases from you creators. Yeah, and it's because we dig deep into it. I think when Elon Musk says X is your new mainstream media, so are all of us creators, because we dig deeper into it and follow trials, and we don't do those 2-minute headlines where accused killer Karen Reed is back in trial Monday, where she will stand for motions against her dog bite experts. More at 11. Now the weather. We can sit here and you can. Melanie Little had I took a nap before the stream because it's a little late. Melanie Little had a 2 hour and 45-minute thing, I think, stream today about the motions, where she, with her expertise, runs through it, go through it, and gives people an education in law. And you don't have to pay for it. It's you don't have to have cable. You don't have to. It's amazing the liberation of knowledge you can get on YouTube. about almost everything. When we stream, we also try and YouTube and say, how the hell do I set up a ring light? How do I set up my camera? You can find, that's when I love social media, putting people together, sharing knowledge. I hate it when it's all the TikTok dances and Hack 2A and whatever it is, but
Sure.
we get a lot. Yeah, we dig deep. Well, I don't. I have my brigade of muses to do it for me, but I'll take the credit and Jamie take the money. But yeah, it's you get
Well, there
coverage
was
you
something
couldn't get.
Yeah, there was something that really bothered me during the trial. Was in the later days of the trial, there became security concerns for Karen because of the amount of people that started showing up around the time of the jury deliberations. So a member of WBZ's reporting staff was on the air that night saying, Karen continues to evade her supporters as she went around the back of the court and walked around the right side and came in on the left side of the stairwell. And I remember just getting so enraged by that they would try to frame it like Karen was avoiding her supporters for mysterious reasons, when the truth was they were doing that out of an abundance of caution because, quite frankly, security there was not sufficient to protect Karen and her defense
No, but
team.
KP can have two officers follow her out of trouble.
Right. So finally, things got more organized. The state police had finally stepped in and defended Karen and gave her the proper escort that she should have been getting anyways, given the amount of people that were out there. And you just never know if someone out there among us is pretending to be a Karen Read supporter and could at any point be a hazard to Karen's safety. And from the local news, I was very disappointed in their reporting on that they'd try to frame it like Karen was blatantly avoiding us for some reason, when people like myself and many others were out there that actually knew why they were doing that. And like you said, a lot of times you get better reporting on these matters from independent media or content creators or people that were there that have social media accounts that can tell you what happened, as opposed to the local media that only wants to give a particular side of the story or frame things in a certain way that are sometimes detailed but not thorough enough to actually get the point across. The fact was Karen was not avoiding her supporters. Simply, it was done out of, it wasn't like they made it seem like she was just doing it for some reason. Is she turning, it kind of almost, to someone that doesn't know much about this case, they might say, oh, maybe she turned on her supporters. Like that can be skewed. And to me, that's what I didn't like about that reporting. Whereas Karen is evading large crowds out of an abundance of caution for her own personal safety, which was really what that was about. Yeah.
We saw the media run with all the pictures and trying to imply that who was it? AJ was sleeping with her, and AJ was sleeping with Melanie Little, and AJ gets around. But yeah, now that trials are televised, does it blow your mind seeing the news reporting such misinformation? I can say that I spent 4 years as a local politician. Well, I spent a lot of years as a local politician, but 4 years as an elected. I could do an interview, open the paper the next day, and didn't recognize the story I told the journalist. So I kind of knew how bad it is, but now when you have seen it on the ground, seen and known why Karen took a different route and didn't go up and say hi to everyone, and then seeing it on the news, does it kind of show you that, yeah, they're not in it for the news, they're in it for the views?
Yeah, they sensationalize a lot of things. Sometimes they try to, introduce a little bit more whatever to it to try to make it, frame it in a certain way. But you definitely lose a lot of respect for local news media outlets, especially Court TV, who's not local, who's basically national or worldwide. And a lot of their reporting about that was an absolute sham. And, you saw some of the guests that they had on that network, which was an absolute, really a joke. I don't usually try to slander people I don't support, but some of the people they had on that show was an absolute farce.
Yeah, and it's just, I think again, it's good that we have, and let's be honest, it's good the Smurfs have their creators too, because if you have a different opinion, I wouldn't. Do I believe some of them are in it because they they're absolutely not getting paid, and whatever may have been leaked in a FOIA information has nothing to do with reality. Are in it because, okay, it's the empty standpoint. Let me grift that so I can sit here and say, well, everyone come to me. But I think it's good that both sides can get representation. I just wished that the other side was more willing to engage in a discussion. I've been asked so many times, why don't you want to discuss it with people who know how she's guilty? I've said, if you want to discuss on the merits, the filings in court, what we heard at trial, let's do that. If you want to come on and sit and say, Aiden is a rapist, Aiden is an idiot, I don't want to talk to you, because that's not about the Karen Reed trial. I wish they had someone. Plevin is the smartest guy on that side. And Plevin, as the smartest guy, is like me running against Usain Bolt. It ain't that hard to beat me in a run. It's I wish they had better people. So, because I wish to know what are their arguments. The argument so far is just, well, she's guilty because she didn't smile enough. She's guilty because she smiled too much. She's guilty because she had a drink maybe at some point. She's guilty because Aiden is an asshole. She's guilty because everyone is grifting. I never heard why they think she's factually guilty. And I wish they had someone better on that side, but maybe better people don't think.
Well, you know, apparently taillight can shatter into 40-something pieces. Apparently, when you drive a vehicle in a reverse into an object that only weighs a couple 100 pounds, it's not stabilized to the ground. But apparently that's it. But yeah, the logic behind it is all, it's all kind of fabricated. It's not, there's nothing really sufficient there. There's a stronger argument that can be made why the police reports that came out were an absolute joke or unfactual compared to the arguments that they try to make. And they'll argue in circles, and they'll try to do everything they can to make it sound like we're wrong and we're able to be discredited. But then you look at the amount of people out there, and there's really nobody out there that's coming out in numbers and that are up in arms and doing standouts all across the state, and doing, you know, a lot of things to try to get a point across that Karen Reed is guilty. And the reason why they're not is because there's not a lot of people look at this particular case and think much of it in terms of Karen Reed's guilt. In fact, more people that tune into this come out with the conclusion that she's innocent. That is what happened to me. I saw Turtle Boy's article. I started reading into it. I started following it. And the more and more I looked at it, I said, oh my goodness, this woman's been framed for murder. There's no chance in, you know what, that this could happen. And then you not only look at that, but you look at other evidence, such as the fact that a Google search occurred at 2:27 a.m. in the morning that showed Hostelong to die in the cold. That's very much notable. The fact that Google search took place at that time, which it did, they tried to have an expert, so-called expert, say that wasn't so, but it's true. If you Google something at 2:27 a.m., it will register. Cellbrite data confirmed it. And you look at a lot of the tie-ins. People who know people that were involved at the state police level actually knew people in the family that aren't only at a wedding several years back, but they were actually in a wedding party. But the more and more you look at this stuff and tie it all together, it only leads to one thing, which is controversy, which is a frame job, which is an absolute cover-up without a doubt. And the only people that seem to think this seem to be people that are not too credible, or people that really have a vendetta against Aiden, which really seems to be the case. Because when you look at Sandra Birchmore, you look at Enrique Delgado or Justin Root, you don't see a counter group like this. You don't see such a hostile counter group like that. But here
you actually see them being on the side against the MSP.
Right. Yeah.
Kathy Daffy is actually on that. Well, she's a fence sitter on it, but she's actually kind of both ways. But Stephanie says gifted 5 memberships to Palola's mom, no, Pokemon, FD Food Fairy, Lynn Dalton, Ralphie, and Conscious Bias. And Brandon says, wait, you're forcing us to talk about what you want to talk about. I thought those were guidelines. Brandon, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. You normally do. And no, I don't have your golf club. You have to... these are my chats. I don't have your golf club. And thank you, Stephanie, for supporting Mazza's show.
Thanks, Stephanie.
And Ipsy ducks it as well. The case reflects on fact, therefore the two sides are truth lies. There's no opinion when the facts are so clear. but at least try and explain why you believe the other side. I saw someone the other day say, well, the tail light flew out, and we know mass travels at the same velocity and doesn't slow down and stays. No, actually, it speeds up, so it shredded his shirt, got embedded in it, but didn't. It scraped his skin, but got stuck in his shirt, so it didn't get blood on it because it was through the. And I thought that's like me trying to figure out a diet. I can't eat chocolate every day. That I know something's wrong in your diet. I can eat chocolate because you can't scrape an arm with a piece of plastic and not have blood on it. It's impossible. Then, well, it was in the snow, so the DNA was washed off. They test for DNA everywhere, and they found nothing. And it's just so stupid. Yes, you do, Baker. You let me use it. Use what? But yeah, it's just. Oh, I guess you should do that too, so other creators still come on and we can get some investigative journalism regarding a missing charity auction. Brandon won a golf club from Tom Gillis at Golf Pro, actually out of your neck of the woods, and he hasn't received it yet. So Brandon is in my chat every day, believing I stole his golf club. I don't play golf, but it's I do that community service for Brandon. I actually wrote Tom Gillis yesterday asking for his golf club. So how it is. But we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes now. I don't want to take more of your time, and it's getting close to 1 a.m. my time. So I want to see my bet sheets. So
there you go.
I'm a smart guy letting all of you set a time. Tomorrow I'll start at midnight my time. But it's going to be great. But I'll give you the outro, and you can grift yourself a little bit.
Thank you so much, Breaker. Thank you for having me on your program tonight. I do appreciate that. Great joining this show and just reaching out and speaking with you tonight, or in the morning, early morning of the hours over there in Denmark. But I appreciate that, and I would just recommend everyone, if you're able to donate any money to Karen Reed's Defense Fund or Aiden's Defense Fund, or even Enrique Delgado Garcia, if you could, that'd be great. Every little bit helps. The Star Drive-In this past weekend has raised no less than $4,000 in funds for Karen Reed's Defense Fund, which was incredible. What a great event that was at the Star Drive-In. And just continue to do everything we can here collectively as a whole, as individuals, and then together as a group. So I think that's the most important part. And freekarenreed.net's right on the screen. Thank you, Stephanie, for posting that. That also has standout lists. If you're in the state of Massachusetts or nearby, or if you want to have a standout in another state or even country, you can go right there and submit a form to put your standout on that list. So again, Brooke and Baker, thank you so much for having me on your show tonight. I appreciate it. And free Karen Reed.
Maybe I should unmute myself. It's almost like I've never done. I sent you the wrong link, and now I'm muted. And someone asked about the waterfall video. When I saw the waterfall video, I've seen that in many a bar in my lifetime. That was a fight about to happen. That's how we hippos look just before we attack. I wish they had shown. Well, they probably won't allow it in because it's been manipulated. Now it's blown up and cleared up. So if you see that video, and we didn't notice it during the trial, but now we saw it blown up, I'm going to fight you. That's how it looks before we get into fights in bars.
Yep. That's for sure. There's no question about that at all. There was hostility brewing there.
I know that.
Yeah, you even see John O'Keefe's reaction when Higgins finally does leave the bar. He's like, "What's this guy's problem? What's his problem?"
Yeah.
No question. There was a brawl there at some point.
Just back be yeah, but again, we know that was a fight room.
Correct.
Yeah. And again, I don't think we'll ever find out because the police isn't interested. But now I'm losing internet connection as well. So it's a perfect time to say thank you all. Thank you, Mazza. Tomorrow it'll be publicly buzzed who will join me. I hope everyone can hear it because my internet is just burp. But I'll have publicly buzzed on tomorrow. We will do the Valenzano trial tomorrow as well. So be back here at 9 a.m. I won't do my night show tonight at 11 because that's in 4.5 hours and I need some sleep. So I don't oversleep like last time. Put on my outro and hopefully everything's breaking up right now. I hope I can put my outro on and then yep, everything's gone down.
What?
Where is it? There it is. Bye.
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor. All right. 100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
So there.
Everybody has.